Let's go racing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Nashville Superspeedway, where we bring you live MRL Monday Night Mayhem. The Moonlight Racing League Cup Series is in the round of 8. This is race number 2 of the 3-race round of 8, and the boys are going to do battle here in Nashville. Mayhem in the streets. I'm Mean Gene Money. I've got my tag team partner, Zach Panzarella, and we are prepared for an epic adventure. Zach, you got your big boy pants on, because we might even need brown pants the way this season's going.
Oh man, you are not kidding, Mean Gene. And while it's looking like this might be a smaller field than usual, it's like an all-star race out here with who has showed up so far. About 6 minutes left to practice, and the guys out here are race winners, and we also have ex-champions such as Buddy Sully, a part-timer this year, but our defending champion. So this is going to be a good one, Mean Gene. The round of 8, Music City. I don't know if you could ask for a better combo.
And I love, we're at Nashville, and everybody thinks they're fast here. We've seen Zero Chill, David Owens talk about his dominance here. We've heard Tony Iverson talk about, hey, well, you know what? I won here last year. We've heard Michael Mata say, well, guess what, bud? I'm the fastest in practice. I led the most laps here. We've heard Joe Volpa say, I ran the fastest lap last year here. So everybody's got an angle of why they could do this. One guy, Tony Iverson, with that win last weekend, he got into the championship 4, that race at Vegas in just 2 weeks. But we cannot forget what happened last week. The high side hustler teammates, Iverson and Eric Thornton, doing battle with the Mo Power team captain, the 53 of Colin Bollinger, and then end of the race, what happens? Colin rams him up in the wall. Oh, I'm sure it was side drafting gone wrong. 1, 2, 3 times the charm. Finally breaks the momentum of Iverson, cuts down for the win. Iverson says, screw you, bud. Hits that right rear quarter panel, spins him unintentionally, I'm sure. Iverson takes the win, and that pushes Colin back to the 5th place position. Who's happy? Eric Thornton. Eric Thornton did battle all night with both these drivers, one guy more than the other. Him and Colin Bollinger definitely had some spicy moments. End of the race, Colin also said, come on, Eric, you ain't even in the playoffs. We didn't get to talk to him last week. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We got him this week. That's right. Eric Thornton, high side hustler himself. I've referred to these guys as the axis of evil as a joke once before. Eric, how you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, thank you for coming on. Sorry we took so long last week. It was exciting, and we just started yippity yapping. Eric had to go to bed. It's a little bit late. That's totally understandable. Eric, last week you saw your teammate win. He punched his ticket into the end. Into the championship floor. You're not in the playoffs, only ran a few races, part-time, very close to full, but I think that's what cost you. Definitely not lack of speed, and definitely not lack of effort. If you can't be in the championship floor, it's got to be nice to see one of your guys get in there so far, yeah?
Oh yeah, for sure. We want to try to get both of them in if we can. Got to make sure David locks in here soon.
Hey, David Owens, he is a powerhouse here on this track. The other fastest guy might be Tony Iverson, so you got to feel good about his chances here tonight. And, the high side hustlers, you got Buddy Sully back tonight. You think that improves your chances even more of perhaps a dominant race by your team?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Buddy's always fast. I'm sure he'll be fast tonight. I think we all got a pretty good chance.
I love it. I love it. Eric, I can't let you get out of here without asking you the 2 big questions everybody's wondering. You and Colin last week. Colin, he had a few words at the end. He wasn't mad at Tony for spinning him at the end. I'm sure it was unintentional. And he got mad at you. Eric, what's your opinion on this thing?
I mean, I don't know why he's mad. I was just racing him hard, and lap 30, he spun me, side drafted me a little too close, so I was just giving him back his own medicine, I wasn't trying to hurt him. I don't think I did anything egregious. I don't know why he was so upset with me.
Well, I think he didn't want to take it out on the guy he put into the wall. Unintentionally, of course.
It's
So,
okay. It was hard racing. It was a really fun race.
It was exciting as hell. I'll tell you what, Eric, I can't wait to see what happens tonight. I'm going to let you go so you can get back in there. I do want to give you one little tidbit, though, Eric. You know how many incident points you had at Michigan?
How many?
0. All right.
0.
Eric Thornton with 0 incident points. I'm going to send you back to your channel. Good luck to you and your team tonight, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck, Eric. Man, you love to mix the
0
pot,
incident points. What? Me? It was unintentional. It was side drafting gone wrong.
I mean, yeah, very innocent. Very innocent.
All I need to do now is bring in Colin and tell him that Eric doesn't care what he thinks.
He doesn't get why you were so upset. What do you have to say about that, Colin?
Oh, my Lord. So, again, we're at Nashville. They are running practices, about to go into qualifying in 1 minute. Who's looking good tonight, Zach? Who's a spicy taco on that track?
So far, it's looking like Jonathan Case of Beer putting down the fastest lap, and he's got his teammate right behind him in second place, Michael Mata, with the second fastest lap. Case of Beer needing this race today. Really excited to be on track, and I'm excited to see what he can do today. I think he's going to be racing with all of his heart. Behind them, you have Owen, Soley, and Bollinger, and let's go ahead, me and Gene, let's pull up our standings real quick. Here we go. So,
ooh, what's that yellow mean?
That means that Tony Iverson is locked in. He is racing on house money until we get to the championship race, man, Gene.
I mean, look at how many top 5s Colin Bollinger has. He is right on the edge. And you know what else stands out to me? Look at Joe Vulpes with 9 top 5s as well. That is surprising that Joe would be positioned where he is. Of course, 4 guys gonna do battle. Novella scooting up the chart with that 3rd place position last week. Kevin Kyle not too far out. Sean Walton not too far behind that. I did get to talk to Andrew Bolander about what happened. He said that he was under the weather, that it just became a little bit too much, and he had to take off the helmet, get out of the fire suit, and Andrew had to call it early last week. But being a Mo Power teammate, that whole team is fast. I think we're going to see him racing with a little extra incentive tonight, Zach.
For sure, me and Gene, and no judgment from me feeling under the weather and trying to iRace. It's more physical than I think a lot of people would think watching at home. I've done it before. I got pretty sick last year, and I had to do 2 iRaces back-to-back, different leagues I was in, and there were trucks I even liked, me and Gene, and I was just trying to get by, right? Where I would normally have been a top 5 car, I was happy in 15th. That was all I can mentally and physically get together at one time. So I don't blame Bolander one bit, but that essentially, I don't want to say must win, Mean Gene, but I kind of am.
Do it.
Yeah, it's a must win, isn't it? I mean, someone like Sean
look who
Walton
he's chasing.
tough. Yep. And look at the consistency, like you said. These guys that haven't been to victory lane yet, like Joe Vulpes, 14 top 10s. That is a series leading number right there, and 9 top 5s. I believe that is the highest amongst anybody who has yet to win a race. So consistency, so important here. So you just can't count on someone like Vulpes having a bad day.
No, unless somebody takes him out. And as he pointed out to me pre-race when I was walking around down in the garage area, Vulpes did have the fastest lap last year at Nashville. So all these fellas that you see here, all 8 of these guys, they have the ability to win. It's just going to be a matter of what gets in front of them, what other circumstances arise, and how do we react to it. You can't control what other people do, what other drivers do on the track. You can only control how you react to it, and we're finally going to see what happens here. This race has been a long time coming, Zach. Everybody thinks they're fast here at Nashville, and we're finally going to get a little taste of what's going to happen. Oh, speaking of getting a little taste there, how about, boy, that car was upside down.
Oh, no. Already here at
in practice.
Oh, this is quali now, so that's even funnier.
Oh, yeah, in qualifying. The guy was upside down in qualifying.
No. Oh, no. As you see a few of these cars putting down laps now, but you're right, Mean Gene. A lot of these cars here do have a lot of confidence. This is a track that a lot of people have circled on their calendars. I know the 11 of Owens does. This is his favorite racetrack, and he is not shy about that. He would love to get a win here and lock himself into the round of 4. I believe that would mean he's going to the round of 4 and every MRL league this season, which would be a big accomplishment for him. So yeah, but that he's not the only one. Like we said, Vulpes, he has been very hot of recent leagues. In every league he's been running up front. He knows that he's faster and he would like to get it done. And again, we're seeing Mata and Quesabir put down great practice laps, and that can't be the draft. That's not super important here, Gene. So I'm excited to see what happens here in qualifying, first of all, but then again, also once this race gets started, because I do think this is going to be one where the long run, especially with this field size, is going to be very important.
Yeah, it was Kevin Kyle. He was on his second qualifying lap, and he just goes up into the wall, spins down, and flips the car.
Amazing.
Oh, my word. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's going to be exciting. Going back to Andrew Bolander for just a minute, and anybody really driving, not feeling well, we have proof. Speaking of Kevin Kyle, remember when he wore that heart monitor?
Yes.
That thing spiked out of control a couple of times when he was 3 wide. And, you add the fact that this is the final round to these 8 guys, that's really going to bring up the stakes. And I think it's just opening up a whole nother situation. And then you include whatever is going on with these people in their home lives. Remember, we're not professional athletes here. We're doing this for fun. This is our hobby. Yeah, put a lot of hours in it, put a lot of resources into our gear, but you're bringing what happened during your day. Some of these people are plumbers. Some of these people are accountants, bankers, police officers, high-stress jobs. You get home, this is supposed to be fun, and then all of a sudden you got some loudmouth named Mean Gene on the radio with his buddy Zach talking about, it's do or die. No, it's not do or die. I mean, it's fun to talk about, but you add that stress level into anybody, and that can make it a little bit more difficult. Really, though, this is what we live for. These are the moments that are going to push forward. This is season 4. Buddy Sully with that championship last year. Jack Sanders, the Colonel, with the one previously. Nothing but smoking races so far here in this championship, and Nashville just adding up to be even more of that. Tony Iverson, he's punched his way in. Cannot wait to see who's the next guy that's going to make that happen. Zach, I would be remiss in my duties as a broadcaster if I did not give a big shout out right now to Chantilly Lace. Ladies and gentlemen, Chantilly Lace, of course, our sponsor all series long. They are experts in videography as well as still photography. If you live on the East Coast, support iRacing, support the MRL sponsors, and give Chantilly Lace the attention that they are definitely going to give you. You got a wedding, you got a bar mitzvah, you got a quinceañera, you got any of those issues, bring those guys in. They're going to take care of you. They're going to give you a heck of a good price. Oh, it looks like we got some qualifying results up there, Zach. What do you got, Zach?
Yes, we do, and just as we anticipated, this is his favorite track. And real quick, too, yes, we will be. My dumbass couldn't find Chantilly Lace's logo here, so I'm gonna get that pulled up, and to make up for what I just did, I'm gonna have that thing up this whole race. Because shout out to them. But David Owens putting on the pole. That's a good way to start a big race for that 11 car. But how about that, Mean Gene? The 2 cars that we talked about before we went into or during qualifying there, locking up the front row there, and that is Joseph Vulpes and David Owens. So Vulpes going to be alongside him, only 0.08 of a second, behind Owens. Michael Mata in 3rd place, Alex Him in 4th, Jonathan Quesabir in 5th place. That is a MC Motorsports threesome right there with a Daily Drivers Inc. associated car. Colin Bollinger qualifying this time. He's going to be in 6th place. 7th place belonging to Jay Stinson. 8th will be Eric Thornton. 9th, Matt Novella, who we'll have on camera today. And rounding out our top 10 is Richard Swingle.
Starting in the 11th position is going to be the number 27 of Kevin Kyle. Outside with him on that 6th row, the 01 of John Beverly. Jack Sanders, he's going to start in 13th, driving the number 25 car. Number 54, Jose Medina, he's going to start on the outside of row 7, 14th position. Steve Lewis, Captain Crunch, is going to be your number 15 car here today. Brandon Guerin, the number 57, he's going to start in 16th on row 8. Next 3 drivers choosing not to qualify. High side hustler teammates Tony Iverson and Buddy Sully making up row 9. And the 19th car here on the grid, Hunter Hall, is going to start in 12th place. I don't blame Hunter. Also, he was the second slowest car during practice, so no shame starting in the back.
Only one thing left to do, Mean Gene.
Let's do this.
Words in motorsports, the star of Universal Pictures movie, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Let's do this thing, Mean Gene.
Oh my, DJ Khalid, let's go. All right, I'll tell you what, they're rolling, boys and girls. They are making their way around the track, and we are about to go green here at Nashville. Again, this is Monday Night Mayhem live on the MRL Broadcasting Network. Mean Gene Money here in the booth with Zach Panzarella. This is the second race in the round of 8. Tony Iverson punched his way in, and we'll see who will be the next man to get the golden ticket and find his way into that championship at Vegas. And away we go. It looks like David Owens with the early lead. Outside of him, Joe Volpis. Oh, he gets a little wide. That's going to let Michael Mata get close on the inside. Looks like Mata is going to fall in behind Owens and in front of Joe Volpis. Mata looks low in turn 3. Owens cuts down in front of him. It's Owens. It's Mata. Volpis on the outside. Mata looking high above Owens. It's side by side. Mata takes a nose, and it looks like Michael Mata leading the lap here.
I believe so, Mean Gene. I think Michael Mata led that first lap, and that's a big deal. That's a bonus point, and now that we're points racing, you know Owens wanted that bonus point, but I don't think it'll take him long to lead a lap here, trying to work the inside. Volpis not getting the start he wanted there on the outside, now trying to reclaim that second place, and right behind them, you got Hillman and Bollinger. And Bollinger. Oh, no! Owens
into
and
the side.
Oh, man.
The rest of the cars behind them still going straight. Just those lead 2 cars. Mata into the back left side of David Owens. David Owens talking spicy. He's chipping away in the radio chat. You'd think it was a hockey game.
Well, Mean Gene, I'm not hungry for chips. I'm hungry for something else.
Chirp, chirp, to chirp, T-bone of the race. Oh, my word. He got right into the side. I mean, but think about it. This is Owens' track. I own this thing. And then Michael Mata, I led the most laps, and I got a screw job last week or last year and lost. Let's take a look.
So here we go.
Ooh.
Mata kind of filled that gap on the inside. There's the bump to Owens. Owens is loose. Oh, and he just never gathered it back up, Mean Gene.
I'll tell you what, Mata was rattling his cage, and the cage fell off the end table. Michael Mata running that. What is that? Gracie Abrams.
Yeah, Good Riddance. Is that like a artist? Is that like a country artist or something?
I have no idea. Mean Gene Money might have to pull out Siri
As you
and
can
see
tell
exactly what's going.
As you can tell by the music I play on this, not a big country fan. But here we go
Yeah,
again.
who knows?
Watch this bump here. Out of corner exit, just like a Superspeedway, Mean Gene, just not the, I mean, technically this is one, but not the right place to bump somebody. So there's Owens, he's gathering up. I'm sure that wheel is going left to right, right to left, and just not able to do it. Nowhere for Mata to go, and he's just ordering a T-bone steak off that menu, discounted 2 for the price of 1 T-bone, I think, and I think he got that early bird special because we're only on like lap 5.
Yep, he took it straight to the Brazilian steakhouse and going to give him a little piece of that T-bone. So Gracie Abrams, if you're wondering, she is a 25-year-old artist, American songwriter known for her soulful voice and emotionally charged lyrics that blend indie folk and pop. That's Gracie Abrams, the sponsor on Michael Mata's car today.
Between the Good Riddance as like, I'm assuming like her album name, I'm definitely getting some Taylor Swift vibes here, Mean Gene.
Oh, no, not Taylor Swift.
But
so,
they have
Taylor
some bad
Swift
blood.
of NASCAR?
Yep. We do need a Taylor Swift NASCAR, but I mean, one thing is for sure, there's going to be some bad blood between Mata and Owens.
Oh, I see what you did there. All right, so early caution here in the Music City. And who's the recipient of the good news? That's Joe Volpus. He's up front. Alex Hillman going to run in second on that front row with Joe. And Hillman, he looked pretty good last week. He had his moments, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Hillman definitely looked really good, and he's good in these kind of shorter, flatter tracks. So I would have my eye on that 08 Hillman today. Quick note here, Mean Gene. In terms of pit time, 34 seconds for Owens, so that tells me he did not use that fast repair.
Ooh.
Only 5 for Mata. So not sure if he used the fast repair there or if it wasn't that bad, if Owens got the bulk of the bad damage there. So we'll have to keep our eye on that.
Well, it just kind of makes you wonder, yeah, because I don't think he used that fast repair.
No, I don't think so either. And he's not in the controller this week either, Mean Gene. That was the problem last week, by the way.
Oh, yeah, the controller. Oh, yeah. Here we go. We're going to start off again. Joe Volpus, he is your control car. He's on the inside into the GoCo restart zone. Away goes Volpus. He's got a 1-car link lead. He's got a 2-car link lead. So fast that that's going to be Bollinger up on that inside side-by-side with Hillman. Bolander, he's got a good run. Eric Thornton's going to fall in behind him and kind of get in the way of Jay Stinson. Joe Volpus up in front. Then he's got Colin Bollinger, Alex Hillman, Eric Thornton, Jonathan Case-A-Beer. That's your top 5. Volpus going to lead him into 3. You can see there from that infield, that in-car view brought to you by Chantilly Lace. Joe Volpus brings him across that start-finish line.
And yeah, just not a good restart from the 08 of Hillman. That was about a half a car length that he gave up to Volpus just before they even went green there. And you see what that, or the negative effects of that is. He really had no chance of maintaining that second place position that Hillman had there. So Bollinger easily getting by already to second place. And man, it's interesting when we get to see that 53 qualify. Is it not, Mean Gene? Totally different race.
Well, he's looking for a win. Speaking of interesting race, look at Kevin Kyle. He is a little bit loose. You can see him there on the outside. He was going backwards after that restart. Not sure if he spun the tires or the tires were hot, but that's going to be a car we're going to need to keep on. Remember, Kevin Kyle, he is one of the playoff drivers eliminated in the round of 12. He wanted the iRacing Superspeedway to get in, but kind of in a rough season for Kevin following that initial speed. Today at Nashville, Kevin Kyle, he's in 8th, up 3 spots, but still going the wrong way at this time. I'll tell you who ain't going the wrong way, and that's got to be Tony Iverson, up 10 spots from not qualifying, currently in 7th.
Yeah, Tony Iverson doing a great job. It looks like he may have not qualified because of how late he got here to practice. Tony Iverson also, like we talked about, locked into the championship race, so really just racing for trophies here and to help out his teammates of the 11 and the 1 of Thornton. So Iverson, though, he is doing a great job working his way through this field. Like you said, has already picked up about 50, no, not that many, about 10 spaces. So really getting it done. Matt Novella and Buddy Sully there now side by side. As you see, Sully also starting to work his way through the field. And we'll take our first trip here into Novella's Nook and see what Matt Novella has going on for him. There he is.
Oh, he's got gloves. This is serious.
Oh, this is real serious, Mean Gene.
Look at that fire suit, too. I can see his knees.
Yep.
He's wearing capris.
Matt Novella, clearly a New York fan, as you see that New York Giants sign right there. So if he's a Knicks fan, screw you. Because I am a Celtics fan, Mean Gene, and oh my gosh, I'm not sure if you saw what happened today.
Oh, yeah, it's getting spicy. Dropping the first 2 there in Boston. That's no bueno.
Looks like Tatum may have torn his Achilles today, too. Ugh.
Yeah. All right, Novella, now he's caught up. You can see Kevin Kyle right ahead of them. Michael Mata, a Buddy Sully as well in that group. With Buddy Sully being there along with Eric Thornton, all 4 high-side hustlers on the track. So that's pretty amazing. A team of 4 out of a field of 19. They really could have a little bit of dominance. Speaking of high-side hustlers, look up front. Colin Bollinger side by side with Joe Volpus. He's looking to go around the outside for the lead. Volpus trying to fight him, but it's going to be the 53 taking over. So you got the Mo-Power driver of Thornton, of Colin Bollinger, the East Coast Alliance driver of Joe Volpus in second, and then the high-side hustler driver of Thornton in third. And remember, and not of big importance, but Thornton and Bollinger with a little bit of history, it ought to be fun if that one could get up to the 53.
Thornton and Vulpes with a big moment on corner exit there, Mean Gene. Vulpes getting a little bit tight, and Thornton almost sliding up into him, able to complete the pass that time. We're only on lap 13, and a handful of these were done under yellow due to that first wreck, and we're already seeing Vulpes struggle a little bit on these tires. That is not a good sign for the 07 car.
No, usually known for long run ability, smoking Joe Vulpes. He is going to have to figure out exactly what happened. Maybe that early lead on that restart made him try a little extra hard. Not real sure. Joe known for having great runs here at Nashville. We'll see what he can do as far as the Music City run goes. Lap 14 here today. We are scheduled to take this race 140 laps. That means at the end of lap 70, points will be awarded. There will be no stage break, no caution. The boys are going to keep it green. But lap 70 is where we will award those stage points. Stage points ever so important for drivers like Vulpes trying to point his way in, unless, of course, he gets that win. Man, Alex Hillman, has this fella just not developed so well during the year? I mean, just he used to have that early speed and then fade, and here he is, discretion, the better part of valor. He's going to let Case of Beer go up underneath him rather than battling him and maintain those tires.
Yeah, Alex Tillman, a teammate of mine on Thursdays, and he really has, and that's cool for you to notice that, Mean Gene, because he talks about that every week. He's put in so much work on the long run specifically, putting in hour-long practice sessions and doing every possible tire scenario, doing the full 50 laps if that's a 50-lap run. And he's not getting caught with his pants down anymore. He always knows what to expect as he gets into races. I'd say Alex Hillman just needs to continue to work on his racecraft, clean everything up, because he has blinding speed, and now he's pairing it with the ability to maintain it over a long run. Now all he has to do is make sure he can keep that 08 up front for an extended period of time. But definitely Alex Hillman, one of the drivers we've seen improve dramatically this season, and it's been fun to see.
Yep. So again, we didn't mention, I'm sitting there talking about Mo Power, High Side Hustler, East Coast Alliance. Alex Hillman, currently the highest DDI driver. So again, top 4 representing the top 4 teams. And then, hey, let's not forget MC Motorsports, because they're running 5th and 6th right behind that. So it's good to see that equality of teams as far as their top drivers spreading out. Tony Iverson now also coming into the picture. You could see him there in 7th in that Grave Digger number 13, making his way up there. Nobody's running away with this thing.
No, they aren't, but who just, oh my gosh, Iverson oversends it like crazy into one.
No, he didn't.
Almost gets
He's
into
fine.
Mata. That was a scary one, me and Gene.
Fine.
But Michael
In the
Mata,
words of Pee In the words of Pee Wee Herman, I meant to do that.
Well, Michael Mata is doing a great job of getting through this field, already up to 6th place. He also went pretty far down the field, I believe down to 15th after that early incident with David Owens. Owens only able to get to 12th place so far. You can see him there towards the back of your screen. But Mata doing a great job. I do think clearly use that fast repair, because that 16 looks healthy, and it's putting down lap times that indicate that it has 0 damage.
Now, I'm wondering, though, tires. Do you think he avoided taking new tires way too soon to make that move? So if he's on the same tire wear as these other guys, you can see now how Iverson's battling. And right behind them, Jay Stinson coming into the picture as well. Jay Stinson running part-time this year, but he has shown speed every time. That's that number 2 Ford in the 8th place right now. You can see he's the last car. I don't want to call it in that lead group, but that's kind of where they are at the moment.
Wow, look at that from Iverson getting passed by Stinson. And really what that was, Mean Gene, was Iverson has a very different approach to this racetrack than someone like the 16. And that you saw me react to it a couple laps ago when I said he oversent it like crazy on entry. And really it's happening lap after lap. Iverson with a lot of entry speed, but really having a hard time wrapping it, as well as somebody like the 16 in Mata is. There you see it again. He's going to close that gap to the 2. But now watch as they come out of this corner. The gap is only going to grow for that 13 of Iverson, as he actually can even graze the wall a tiny bit there. Another thing I'm not loving right now, me and Gene, and I mean, the track can always change. It's a long race here today, but this is a single file race right now. That bottom lane, the only place where these guys are really being able to find any meaningful speed.
Definitely, you can see there that inside lane. Last lap, our leader, Colin Bollinger, turned a 30.15. Right behind him, Eric Thornton turning that 30.12. Alex Hillman a 30.23, and Joe Volpus a 30.18. These guys are not pulling away from each other. Tony Iverson at a 30.02 was actually the fastest car on the track last time. So the top 8 cars, but now that Mod is pit, top 7 cars, all within 2.5 seconds of each other. Even though we're running this single file, nobody is just pulling away. The tire wear at this point looks pretty even. Nobody can find an advantage. It seemed like starting position, track position, ever so vital here today at Nashville Superspeedway.
Colin Bollinger's lead just shrunk from a second to 0.2 there. You see Thornton breathing down his neck. I'm assuming Bollinger, maybe with a loose moment at a 2 there, able to gather it up, but that cost him his entire lead there, Mean Gene. Now really fighting to keep that one of Eric Thornton behind him. Very, very curious about that early pit from Michael Mota. That's only lap 25. I believe these guys have 3 sets of tires to their disposal. If he wants to run that pattern, he will not have enough tires to make it to the end of this race. So I don't know what Michael Mota's plan is right now. If maybe he's thinking, let me put some fresh ones on it and go get my track position that way, get the control of this race back, and then take it from there. But that is an early pit stop. I'm not expecting to see the rest of the field come down for at least another 10 or 15 laps.
You know, that could be a strategy decision on his part. If this thing goes green, we've only had that one incident so far. This thing goes green extended. That might be a brilliant move that could put him ahead of the rest of the group. Remember, folks, no caution at the halfway point. So if this thing has an extended green, that could be the move that puts Mata further up ahead. You talked about Bollinger having that little wiggle, slowing him down. That slowed him down with that entire group of 7. All of a sudden, Tony Iverson, that 7th place car, he was 2.67 seconds behind the leader in 7th. Now that gap is closed to 2.1, and he actually ran 0.2 of a second faster. So Colin is either in tire conservation mode, or he's really feeling the effect of the hot track here in Nashville. 80 degrees was the temperature at the very beginning of the race. I imagine it's going to be transition. You can see the sun going down, but Nashville not known for cool nights.
And a lot of times 80 degrees means it's in the hundreds on the track itself, which is the temperature that you usually want to be paying attention to. A nice day outside can be misleading in terms of what you're dealing with on the racetrack, not to mention what this track is made out of. This is a concrete racetrack, which is a lot of drivers will tell you a cheese grater to tires. It just absolutely destroys them in a hurry. With this lap count and the way this track is, these guys really are going to have to be prioritizing saving those tires and getting these cars to the as far as they can in terms of their fuel, so they don't get caught at the end of the race without a set of tires when others do have one. So I think we are going to see a lot of comers and goers this one, me and Gene, because as you can see, if you look at our pylon, a lot of fast cars not running where we're used to watching them run.
No, and everybody pretty much running the same lap speeds now as well. At least the top 7 cars are. Mata, of course, faster after his pit. But Mata needs some green flag. Mata
Iverson gets in a case of beer. Iverson gets
still spinning him.
Not a good one from Iverson there. That is going to be no harm, no foul in terms of damage for case of beer. It's going to be some hurt feelings, though. I can tell you that much.
Michael Mata cannot be. Mata, though, that early pit, he needed green flag runs. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's going to come in and get those tires. Mata's going to be on 7-lap older tires for anybody who switches. Not a good break there for the number 16.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to stay out, me and Gene. It's kind of a damned if you, damned if you don't situation. If I'm Mata, I probably stay out. It's going to be tough to keep anyone behind you, but I don't think it's. I think it's far too early in this race to be wasting another set of tires. As here we are looking at the incident between Case of Beer and Iverson. So here we go, going into the entry of the corner, and like we've been talking about, this has been a single lane track. It's been all bottom here, so it's been very difficult to make passes. So far, they are in a line. There's no reason for anyone to be on the inside of anybody. So it looks like Case of Beer misses the corner just a little bit. Up the track he goes, and I think this is when Iverson's going to think maybe this is his opportunity. And there it is.
Go rewind. That looked like a racing incident, right?
Yeah.
Case of beer goes high, or Iverson thinks he can get down low.
Yeah, I think Case of beer trying to fix his mistake. Maybe to even do a mini diamond. Iverson wanted to stick that nose in, and it just wasn't available, but it was for a second. And I would call that a racing incident. That is just something you see happen every now and again.
Did Jay Stinson get around that clean?
Looks like he did. It was only a 2-car incident there. And look at that. Alex Hillman going to win the race off pit road. Bollinger is going to lose a spot. I think Hillman had to have taken 2 there. Yes, a 10-second pit stop. That was a 2-tire pit stop for the 08 of Hillman. I think Case of Beer may have as well. Only a 12-second pit stop for Case of Beer. Probably fixing a tiny bit of damage and putting 2 tires on it.
Richard Swingle going to do a 7.88-second pit stop, and that's going to move him up into the top 5. Richard now being shown in the 5th position. Other guys, John Beverly and Captain Crunch Steve Lewis, also sub 10-second pit stops. So you figure they're up to some strategy. I'm really glad Alex did this, though. The 08 Chevrolet going to take over the lead, because I made a comment earlier about maybe track position is most important. Winning that battle on pit road, because everybody seems to be following that same line. We're going to find out real fast if that's the case or not with Colin Bollinger, that 53, right on his tailgate with those 4 fresh Goodyears.
And this is absolutely the time to be doing this if you're Alex Hillman. Only 33 laps into an 140-lap race. We have plenty of pit stops, plenty more runs in store for us in this race. So if this doesn't work out and he ends up losing worse track position than he was in before, he'll be able to recover. He knows that 08 has a lot of speed in it. And Alex Hillman has all the confidence in the world. So I do like this move as well. I think this is definitely going to be interesting. I think Michael Mata, I think he did stay out, but he was a lap down. I think he's bringing it in again now. He did,
and he got fuel only.
Fuel only from Mata. That's smart, so he's not off cycle in that way, but he will be on older tires. So I'm not expecting to see that 16 working his way through the field anytime soon.
Well, you know what, though? His left side tires are going to be the same as Alex Hillman's.
True that. That's a good point. And that is that MC Motorsports and DDI Alliance today sticking with the same strategy as well. All of them putting 2 tires on. Or 0.
Oh, cool. Well, we'll see if that's going to make a difference. It seems like track position and holding that bottom line have made all the difference. So the 08 of Hillman, he's on the outside. That's going to be your control car into the Geico restart zone, and away. And away he goes. Got a pretty good start there. He leaves behind the Dr. Pepper of Jonathan Case of Beer, but that 53 trying to make chase. 53 is going to fall into line behind Hillman. Hillman has speed. We've seen it on many, many tracks, but right now he's only got 2 fresh tires on that 08 Chevrolet. Bollinger making chase. Behind him, Eric Thornton, Jonathan Case of Beer, and Joe Volpus in the 01 is going to be the 5th car in line. Volpus has to be happy about that caution. Hopefully he got it tweaked, because he was going straight back. Whoa. 3 wide behind them is David Owens making it spicy. Look at Swingle. He's going the wrong way on those older tires as they split him. Medina going up high with Novella. They go around. Some cars trending the wrong way. Ooh, that looked like it was going to be 4 wide, Zach.
Swingle essentially a roadblock right now. Everyone trying to get their way or make their way around him as Bollinger has already completed the pass on Hillman. There he goes around the outside to take the lead. Those 2 tires, they are struggling right now, me and Gene. I'm not sure how much track position that 08 is going to be able to maintain based on what we just saw that 97, because we all know once you lose that lead and you fall into Hornet's Nest, you can start losing them in an abundance. As here goes the 08, going to try to wrap the bottom and clear the 1. Does a good job there maintaining 2nd place.
Jonathan Case of Beer going to be the 3rd car in that line behind Hillman. Hillman, Thornton. Thornton goes low. Hillman not going to block. Good idea of Hillman trying to keep it down on the middle. They door each other. When they touch, oh my word, side by side, Hillman and Thornton. Bollinger loves it as he is going to push his lead to 0.4 seconds already. Hillman outside. has momentum, but inside Thornton with the tires. Look at Case of Beer and Vulpes now knocking on the door. I could throw my whoopee over those 4 cars, Zach.
Oh my, Case of Beer trying to be as patient as he possibly can here. Hillman, a teammate of his, but he's going to have to manage that 07 of Vulpes behind him, and so he might not be able to wait much longer as Thornton finally able to get around the 08 of Hillman. And like you said, Bollinger was loving that, able to open up a pretty good-sized lead there, as now Case of Beer and Hillman side by side. Case of Beer really with a lot of speed since this restart, doing a great job. And you know Vulpes wants to be back up front, but Bollinger doing a great job maintaining control of this race as we're about to be nearly to lap 40.
Spicy challenger again. Thornton right behind Bollinger. We saw this last week. Behind them, side by side, Case of Beer, Hillman, Vulpes right there. And then look at behind them already, 0.8 of a second, all the way back to David Owens. So these groups starting to spread out. Even though those guys were side by side, we watched them pull away from 6th place back. That could have been Owens saving tires. That could have been just the straight up speed of those top drivers. Single file racing as we get deeper back into the track. Kevin Kyle, Tony Iverson trying to give it a little bit of a dice there as those two are side by side. Buddy Sully going to try to go up underneath as it looks like Iverson won that battle, and Kevin Kyle once again going up high. Kevin really taking some conservative lines so far here today at Nashville.
Yeah, looks like Kevin has been prioritizing tire wear, as does someone like Matt Novello. We saw him on camera not too long ago and has lack of input, telling me that that is a priority. And look at that all the way to the bottom of the track. Here goes Eric Thornton. He wants the lead of this race, and he touches Bollinger hard. He's going to come back into the track. Oh, wow.
We saw this last week. We
Big hit.
saw this exact scenario last week. Thornton and Bollinger contact. Thornton down into the grass, back into the wall, losing positions. He's fallen now to 8th place, and he is not doing well.
It's broke. It's broke. Look at that. Look at that front right. Me and G, and that car is broken. Thornton going to bring it into the pits. He's going to likely use that fast repair. He's, oh man, going to barely get it down to speed there. That was a big moment between Bollinger and Thornton, and like you said, we talked to Thornton before this race, and this was a little bit unresolved, and I don't think that's going to help.
No, we saw that exact situation last week in Michigan where those two guys got together, and then the same thing happened. Thornton went down into the grass and came back up and hit the wall. So very difficult. We got a little audio here. Let's see exactly what Thornton had to say from that. Oh, yeah, you can imagine. Not a lot of excitement there. But up front, Colin Bollinger, that guy's got to be excited because he walked away last week. So Bollinger very excited and not happy about the contact between them. But now it's Bollinger. Let's go to that replay.
There it is. And there they are, side by side. Oh, Thornton just comes up
Thornton
a little
looked like he came right up.
Yeah, he kind of did, Gene, and then just could not gather it back up. Oh, man. We'll see how Thornton feels about that. I believe he's still in the pits. Is he not? Is he back? Yeah, he's back out on track. There he is. 1 lap down. Looks like he did use that fast repair.
I mean, even I know that when you're going to door somebody, you got to use your door, not your front right tire.
You're not wrong about that, Gene. And it looks
That's
like
not how you do that.
Looks like Bollinger, for the most part, got it at unscathed. I'm not seeing any damage on the right side of that car. Or I'm sorry, that'd be the left side. But no, I'm not seeing any damage regardless. So that 53 looking good so far. I think the biggest thing he's going to have to worry about is when he finds that one again.
No, we saw the exact same contact a week ago at Talladega when the 51 of Gerald Rose came across and hit into Vulpes. It was the same parts of the car. Mm-hmm. It was the door of Rose hitting that left front tire quarter panel area of Vulpes. Rose drove away unscathed, whereas Vulpes got set down into the grass. Same thing here. Thornton, it was the right front tire quarter panel area into the door area of Bollinger, and the exact same result. I'm going to have to put out a VHS tape on how to properly door in iRacing, I think.
Yeah, it's an important piece of information that I think people might need to know. So I'm going to touch on Jonathan Case of Beer here real quick, me and Gene. And
Oh,
we
we're
talked.
going to touch him.
I know. I was going to say that sentence didn't sound great, did it?
It was a meatball. I appreciate that.
Not a good one. But you talked a little bit before this race started about priorities in life, and you know, at the end of the day, this is a hobby that we all enjoy. But you know, we dedicate a lot of time to these leagues, and that's why I think a lot of us take it so seriously. But Jonathan Quesabeer, I'm not gonna say what it is because that is his personal business, but dealing with some real life stuff right now, and stuff that I think really puts us all into perspective. And he was even considering not coming out tonight, didn't feel like he was in the right mind space, and I was one of the people to help convince him and just say, get out there, take your mind off of it for 2 hours and just enjoy the race car and the racetrack, and just going into this little world we get to. And honestly, sometimes it's kind of an advantage to be in the situation that Quesabeer is. Like, obviously, I wish he wasn't going through what he is right now, but at the same time, it kind of does remind you that how small this is in the grand scheme of things, right, me and Gene, and how that we should just be doing this to enjoy it. And you can tell he's driving like a free man right now, like someone with nothing to lose, and it's translating to a great performance.
It's amazing how many times we see athletes, especially great athletes, take adversity off the court, off the field, off the track, and turn that into epic performances. And so far, that's what we're seeing out of Jonathan. He is up in a podium position. He's running third, and he has had that number 6 Chevrolet running smooth all day long. So Jonathan with a really good run. And I'm glad that he did manage to make it out here, make that start. He is a half a second behind Colin. Once again, after that pit stop, we see the top 4 cars all within 1 second of the leader. That's Bollinger in the lead, Vulpes about 4/10 back, behind him Quesabeer and Hillman. And then you can see there's a slight gap, another second or so back to Jay Stinson, Tony Iverson, and those fellas, but they're running the exact same lap times once again. So track position important, but you're not going to make it by shorting yourself on tires, are you, Zach? We saw that fast.
No, you really aren't. And now it's going to get a little bit interesting. We saw that caution come out around lap 30. Here we are now on lap 51. I think these guys, if they can help it on fuel and on tires, are going to want to get to the stage and take home those points before they bring it back down. But this will be an interesting moment in this race, as we are starting to see a little bit of separation here, a little bit of single file action. So usually what that lends to is green flag racing. So we'll see if that rings true here. As we are seeing, oh, and there we go. It passed for second place. Guy we were just talking about, Quesabeer, showing some long run speed up to second, doing a great job here.
Yeah, Quesabeer going to take over second from Joe Vulpes. That's Vulpes in the 07. And Hillman right there, very close as well. Now, this little battle between Quesabeer and Vulpes allowed Bollinger to get another 1/10 of a second ahead, but they're all still on the screen together, not getting very far away. You can see right there on your camera, there's only about 8 or 10 car lengths, just 4/10 of a second. Quesabeer, though, now that he's free of Joe Vulpes, he's starting to lay down a little bit faster lap times, almost 1/1500th of a second faster than Bollinger. I'm not going to be surprised if Quesabeer starts to reel in that 53.
No, I won't either. Quesabeer really putting together a great drive right now. And here we are looking at Novella putting down some laps right here from 8th place. And what's sticking out to me and Gene, is we checked in with him earlier in the last run, probably about, I want to say 10, 15 laps into the run, and the steering input was so much less than what he's putting in right now to get around this racetrack. So you can tell those tires already kind of giving a Novella a little bit harder of a time. Look at how much he's moving this wheel through the corner here, me and Gene. Only almost about 40% there.
How about this, though? Only 6/10 of a second slower than his fastest lap. Another 24 laps that he's put on these tires since his pit stop. 24 laps of tire wear, but yet he's only lost 6/10 of a second off his fastest lap. So more input, but they're able to keep a good rate of speed. Question is, with that much input going into the tire, how much more will the tire start to wear out? Speaking of wearing out, Vulpes into the wall, and Hillman is going to sneak on by. Meanwhile, Iverson, Jay Stinson now starting to close that gap. Look how close Iverson is as he peeks under that 07 as well. That's Iverson on the inside with that Gravedigger number 13.
Into the wall
takes
again.
the position. So again, Vulpes showing a lot of issues on the longer run. Wonder if he can go in there, address that brake bias perhaps, and see what he can do with that car.
Yeah, Volpis just having a really hard time getting it to turn on an exit, kind of grazing that wall time after time again, and not having the confidence to gas it up the way he needs to. But man, if you want to talk about confidence, Tony Iverson, all of a sudden and really out of nowhere, just blasting through the field. That did not take him long at all to get to Hillman. And also, Mean Gene, if we get a late race restart, based on what I just saw Case of Beer and Hillman do, I don't think there's any way you could convince me to take 4 tires.
It is going to be really difficult, especially if it's a green-white. Heck, if it's a less than 8 laps, I might agree with you. But after watching what happened to Richard Swingle, and on that restart, tires are going to be a premium. But you might as well flip a coin because it also depends on who's in the darn car. If you put Hillman in a car with wore-out tires, I tell you, he might be fast enough. Iverson, he's made up all that space, so that's another guy. And how about Jay Stinson, part-time driver? But we've seen Jay win races. We've seen the speed. And guess who now throws his name into it? You see him right there, zero chill. David Owens on the outside, right behind Alex Hillman. So look at this. These 5 cars, we have raced 59 laps, and these 5 cars have figured nothing out as they all continue the battle for position.
Yeah, they really are, and really what I'm noticing as well, and I think it may have something to do with the 2 tires and the 08 of Hillman prioritizing momentum over shortcutting the track and making it short, but I'm not seeing anyone able to make the top work as well as the 08 of Hillman is. He's doing a great job, whether it be defending or gaining positions, using that top lane. Here he is now kind of being forced to the bottom, and Owens also has been doing a good job on the top. Not able to make it work that time, as Hillman looks like he's going to be able to almost clear Owens. I think they'll be side by side one more time here. He is just really getting a lot of pressure put on by that 2 and that 11.
I think Hillman's definitely showed the rest of the field, if they're aware, that 2 tires would be the way to go on a late caution as far as maintaining track position, but keeping speed. I'll tell you what, Owens 1 lap ago, when he went around, I thought he was going to crash into the right rear of Hillman. That was so close. I was really surprised not to see netcode.
Owens coming pretty high out of 4 there, and I think that's exactly what you saw. He is struggling right there. But Owens was following Hillman around on the top, so I know he knows how to make that line work. I'm sure Owens he's been very methodical since that early wreck. He has not tried to do too much with that race car. I don't think he uses fast repair. I think everything was fixed himself there, but still, nonetheless, definitely does change the way you approach a race, not to mention losing all that track position. But he has not been in a big rush to get it back like you've seen someone like Iverson has, who's had some incidents as well, and really has done a great job getting through the field fast. Owens, on the other hand, been very methodical, very patient, trying to keep those tires underneath them, and it's working out for both of them as they find themselves now in 3rd and 4th place.
Yep, David Owens up in 4th using his driving style. Speaking of being caught up early, Michael Mata, he has brought it down for another pit stop, and he did take 4 tires. So Michael Mata making use of the pits. Here we go. John Beverly and Richard Swingle now bringing it in. Both these cars were on the lead lap. They will go down temporarily. Eric Thornton still trying to make up for what happened to him earlier in the race. Remember, he pitted back on lap 41 after getting that toe link broke. And here comes Steve Lewis. So back of the field now choosing to come in. If it looks like you're going to get lapped anyway, you might as well come on in and get tires and run a little bit faster.
That's a good point, especially if you're anticipating this race to stay green. You might as well, right? Stop the bleeding and start putting down some hot laps with those new tires. I believe those are 2 people who both elected to take 2. We know Swingle did. I'm not sure about Jay Bev. But, yeah, I'm sure with those 2 tires, you were in a pretty big rush to put 4 fresh ones on it, as you just saw it on screen. The 11 completing the pass and bringing it into a podium position now in 3rd place. However, he is nearly 3 seconds behind the leader and 2.5 behind Case of Beer.
So let me ask you this. Let's say you do 2 tires right now like these boys are doing. Late in the race, you got no tires, but you still have those inside tires you didn't use. Would that make a difference of grip and speed?
It does. We actually, we were preparing for Dover. And granted, these are trucks, so they're a little bit different. As you see Novello going on the inside of Opus there, still struggling on his tires.
3 wide.
Yep.
Hello, Louis.
As Lewis leaves the pits, and he'll have some fresh tires. And there's Thornton as well. But Me and Dalton were doing a lot of testing on that, and we were thinking about taking 2 tires, and then we had to do about a 10-lap run until a stage break after that. And so we're like, why don't we throw in the lefts for that and see how that feels? And it felt good. It wasn't as much of a gain as you would have on 2 tires, but it certainly was not as slow as 4.
Interesting. So just something for the boys to think about as they continue to race around. Meanwhile, look at Lewis continue with Eric Thornton behind him. That is really funny. Lewis has those fresher tires, but Thornton really trying his best to get around there and make up that track position. Golly, their tires are almost 20 laps different. They're 22 laps different, but Thornton running a little bit faster on 22-lap old tires.
Yeah, Thornton really, I mean, he's looking like he's going to have a chance of getting his lap back the hard way. He's going so fast around this field right now, which has to be so frustrating. But Thornton also, regarding Lewis there and that urgency, he kind of does have to be quick around here. As here we go, case of beer into the pits, me and Gene. So this is an interesting one as we have one of our leaders, our second place car, bring it in, and that... Was that 4? I mean, was that 2 again? No, that was 4. I apologize. That was 4 for Case of Beer. That was a 14-second pit stop. We just caught it at the tail end there. So Case of Beer, for the first time today since the beginning of this race, will have 4 tires and a lot of speed underneath that 6 race car. But that is going to, I believe, probably put in the first car a lap down. So that is Thornton's priority right now. He's got to stay in front of these cars because he right now is the lucky dog. And he knows if he gets back in the lead lap here, he's going to have a chance to win this race.
Hillman and Volpus now taking the opportunity to come down. So we're seeing top 5 drivers now making that decision to take the second pit stop here. Lap 70 is about to be finished, and looks like Colin Bollinger is going to take the stage.
And that's big for Bollinger. He has not yet locked into the championship race, but he's close. Definitely our dominant driver this year in terms of wins and points, but has not gotten a win. He came tantalizingly close last week, but didn't get it done. So that's big for him. He wants to keep this simple. I'm sure he'd love to go into the next week pointed in if he can't get the win here today.
David Owens still chasing points. He's going to finish second in that stage. Chase Stinson, Buddy Sully, 3 and 4. Novella's going to finish 5th, also getting and needing those points. Other guys getting points. Tony Iverson going to get credit for 10th in that stage.
And here comes Bollinger. That was stage racing.
He's the winner. And there it is. Yes, they are finally bringing it down. You can see Colin Bollinger. He needed the win. He got the points for that stage win, and that's going to turn the lead over to David Owens. And now Owens trying to drive a little bit more conservatively. We saw him not concerned with the gap. You know, he let that lead group get 2, almost 3 seconds ahead of him on that first green flag run. Not concerned, and here he is at the end. Up into the front, and now he's going to bring her down. Him, Jay Stinson, Buddy Sully as well. There's Matt Novella. Kevin Kyle looking like he's going to take over the lead temporarily.
Sketchy pit entry from Matt Novella, but he got it figured out. And yeah, Owens, not surprised to see that 11 car in. He stopped the bleeding from that earlier mistake. He got the track position the right way. He had it naturally. Don't change it up now. Stay with these leaders and do the same thing they are. This race is straight up for him now. He's now in a situation of someone like a Thornton who's going to have to do something cute to make this race normal for him again. But here we go. Yep. Kevin Kyle going to inherit the lead of this race. Probably try to lead a lap. He's going to bring it down this time. Oh, boy, big moment there with Case of Beer. He was coming in a hurry. Great entry by everyone so far. This league, so polished, so good at doing green flag pit stops and not making mistakes that you see in pretty much every other league, no matter what the skill level is.
So many drivers here have ran for so long in this season, not to mention other ones. When you first get the game, the simulation, oh, my mistake. When you first get the racing simulator, you're running laps. You're just trying to see how fast you can go. But then you start to find out the minute details that make you win races. And that is definitely pit etiquette. How fast can you go into the pit? How fast can you go in once your tires are blown? How fast can you come in coming off of banking? These are those things that you notice about the great drivers, especially here on a track like this, Zach, where you're having such difficulty making a pass and that inside lane seems to be the preferred lane. If you can beat another guy by 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second in the pit, that could be the difference between a podium and a top 5. That could be the difference between watching the others race for a championship at Las Vegas and being one of the final four.
Yeah, and this is the pass for the lead here, Mean Gene. That's Michael Mata taking the lead from Eric Thornton. These two cars have yet to pit. They are running different cycles due to the incidents they've been in this race. And you're right, in these green flag pitting situations, that is going to make or break your race. You could absolutely lose a good finish from a small mistake. But a couple things to point out here, me and Gene, that are huge regarding this race. First of all, Mata and Thornton staying out, and they're going to run this thing dry. I can tell you that right now. We don't have to check that with anybody. They're going to run it until they're out of fuel. They are praying for a caution right now. And speaking of that, behind them, we have our new leader if this cycles through. And that, oh my goodness, that is Case of Beer as it gets into Swingle. And you can tell there, Case of Beer, he does not want to wait. Through that pit cycle, he got Bollinger by about a half a second, nearly a second when he got out. Bollinger with 1 or 2 lap pressure tires starting to reel in the 6 a little bit, but Case of Beer has inherited the lead of this race. Once it cycles through, he's going to try to get around Thornton here. And the third thing to mention, look who's about to be together for the first time. It's going to be the 53 and the 1 again. And that 1 needs a caution, and he doesn't need the lucky dog.
No, and here we go. This will be the moment as
there it is.
Oh, and they touch. Why not? Why not?
They touch, and keep your eye. I don't know if it's over. Thornton looked pretty intentional there, Mean Gene.
It's over. Swingle's got speed. Swingle's trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. He needs to get past the top 3 cars. Swingle does if he thinks he's going to get it back the old-fashioned way. John Beverly also being shown a lap down. Hunter Hall multiple laps down. So we've still got 16 cars on the lead lap. Up front, like you said, Michael Mata. He last pitted on lap 60, so he is on 18, 19 lap old tires. How about Eric Thornton? He pitted on 41, so those are 38 lap old tires. He turned a 31.04 that last lap, and that is that is a full second slower than everyone else. So Thornton desperately needing a caution at this point of the race. Who's the best on the track? That's got to be the guys that pitted on lap 70, 71, 72, 73. That's, of course, Bollinger, Iverson. A little bit further back, how about Buddy Sully, Jay Stinson, 9 and 10, and Novella, Kevin Kyle, Jack Sanders, Jose Medina. So a lot of different track strategies going on, but I'd rather be a guy on 7-lap old tires than a guy that's on 39-lap old tires, Zach.
Oh, yeah, and as we've talked about, track position just king today, and it's everything. And right here, we're seeing what will end up being the battle for the lead, and what that 6 a Case of Beer is desperate to do right now is just catch his teammate, the leader of this race right now, Michael Mata. Mata, like we said, he's on about 16-lap older tires, but he's a teammate of Jonathan Case of Beer, actually a close friend of his. They actually broadcast races together for a separate league on Tuesdays and do a great job in the booth together. But he knows that if he can get to that 16, he's going to have a driver that is down to help him and down to make the 53's life hell, and they are almost there. So keep your eye on this, Mean Gene. I think Mata's going to give the position to Case of Beer the easiest way he can while also not giving anything to that 53.
I'll tell you what, that'd be pretty cool if he could make that happen. But you know what'd be even cooler is if they did a rebroadcast on the Vortex Racing Network for Tuesday nights.
I know. I agree. They're over at MC Motorsports Broadcasting right now. They should join the VRN team as they do put on a great show. Case of Beer.
Yeah, well, they could put on a banner. We'll let them put a banner up.
Yeah, I am down. We should. And here we go. Bollinger to the outside. This is not what the 6 wanted. He wanted to get to Mata first, but this might even be easier. Now Mata, keep it simple and really give that 53 a hard time. We'll see how much he does here to Bollinger to try to help out his teammate, but these guys are going for it. They know what's at stake. It's 3 wide.
No, he just look at Mata. He's just going to go high and stay out of it. He's going to let them finish it. You know, that was the conversation that we heard last week about the high side hustlers with Tony Iverson saying there was no real coordination between the high side hustlers to impede the progress of the 53. Believe them or not, here today we see MC Motorsports, clearly no collusion on the part of Mata. He got out of the way. He went high. He let those two guys figure it out on their own.
Yeah, classy drive from Michael Mata there. Definitely doing the right thing. I mean, he had every right to race him as hard as he wanted to. That was for position, but electing not to. And while that was going on, Eric Thornton did bring it down into the pits. He now has the freshest tires here in the field, but he is back a lap down. And let's see, he is in the middle of the backstretch. Where's our leader? Oh boy, the other side of the track. Not what Thornton wants.
No, he's 2/10 of a lap faster than everybody else, other than the second fastest car on the track, Eric Thornton is. But again, a lap down to the 11th place car. So he's got to figure
Not even
out
a lucky dog.
something.
Not even a
Yeah,
lucky
exactly.
dog.
He's trying to chase down Swingle, but he is 10 seconds behind Richard Swingle for that lucky dog position. You remember Swingle was trying to get by the boys to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. Swingle now, he's been lapped back to 6th place, so he is the 7th car behind the leader. But again, Richard Swingle would be your lucky dog candidate if he's not involved in any kind of foolishness. You might be wondering, where's those playoff drivers? Well, Colin Bollinger, he is your leader. That is a playoff driver. Case of beer, he is in second.
Not a playoff driver.
Was
a playoff driver, no longer is.
Tony Iverson in third. He's already punched his ticket. He's not worried. David Owens, he is in the chase. He's one of your top 4 drivers. He's in 5th. Let's go down. Joe Volpus currently running 9th. Matt Novella currently running 10th. Novella needs to get ahead of Joe Volpus if he thinks he's going to do anything point-wise. Volpus in 4th, Matt Novella in 5th as far as those points are concerned. So these fellas, it's such a tight point race. They've really got to get ahead of each other. You might be good on the track, but if you're not ahead of the guy in front of you, you're not really making any headway.
On top of that, Mean Gene, it took me way too long to realize this, but Bolander not here today, and that's going to make this a group of 7. You cannot miss a race entirely, whether or not you win. So he will not be racing for a championship this year. Still a great season from Bolander, but it just looked like a bad set of circumstances for that 8 car in this round of 8, and it just goes that way sometimes. Like we've talked about a few times today, we have lives outside of this, and that appears to be the case for Thornton in this season here today.
Yep, same thing. I'm getting word from the Andrew Bolander, the number 8 team. He says that he's having back issues. He did a long race today in another league, tried to pound his way through that race, and again succumbing to his injuries. That's Andrew Bolander in the number 8. Andrew, if you're listening, bud, we miss you. I hope you get better soon. I see you're a Wildcat fan, so keeping that in mind, I'd like to say L's up. L's up, my friend.
Yes, man, heel up, but I will say this to him directly. Good call, taking the day off. Back issues are nothing to be messed with, and sitting at a rig for hours on end is extremely physically demanding a lot of times, and you oftentimes don't realize the damage you've done to your body until it's too late, right? And the race is over, you get up and you're like, oh no. So hoping that Bolander can make a quick recovery, because we love seeing him out here in that M&M's number 8.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. Also, another car you might notice that's missing today is Sean Walton, missing the 23.
Around a
That's
6.
another playoff driver, not here today, would put himself in a must win situation next week. So again, they're not gone.
I think they're out.
They have that chance.
I think you can start and park it, but I think if you miss it entirely, you're out.
I think it was 2 out of 3, right?
Oh, is it 2 out of 3? Okay. Let's confirm.
It was 2 out of 3.
We'll confirm that on Inside the Mayhem. We'll talk to the league admins, but in my opinion,
you don't want to. Let's just pull in Joe Volpus in the middle of the race right now.
He won't mind. He's in a battle probably, so let's pull him in. Yeah.
Exactly.
Long run, holding up the umbrella. I don't see why we can't pull him in right now.
Yeah. I mean, his laps are. He's got 25 old tires. They're starting to get slick.
Yeah. He's loose
probably
as all
talking
hell.
to his team. Yeah. I'll wait till Novella makes contact with his rear in the turn, and then be like, "Hey, Joe, you're not doing anything, are you?"
He'll think we want to interview him. Like, how many races do they have to do in the playoffs?
Nice. Where y'all racing next week, Joe? I've been trying to come up with a good nickname for Joe. I'm leaning towards Smoking Joe.
I like
that. I think if we pulled him in right now, it would be Swearing Joe.
It would be, or smoking out of his ears, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Cartoon Joe.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Volpus, running in 9th right now behind Novella. As far as the gap goes, 8 seconds to the leader he is. So got a long way to go to catch up. Meanwhile, Bolander going to put Brandon Guerin a lap down. That's going to leave 13 cars on the lead lap as the 53. He's the fastest car on the track, not counting Eric Thornton. Thornton, of course, with speed. Thornton has now made his way past Swingle. So Thornton did get past him, but now there's other lapped cars to worry about as Brandon Guerin. Mm-hmm. Yep, now Grant Guerin and Steve Lewis are lapped. Thornton 10 seconds behind Brandon Guerin. So it's just getting deeper and deeper as he's trying to catch up. Thornton now, he pitted on lap 80, 16 lap old tires. Thornton is the fastest car out there, but only by about 0.4 of a second.
Certainly a concerning situation starting to arise for the one of Thornton. It's getting to the point where this race is becoming unsavable, whether it become a caution or just green flag pit stops. It's becoming very difficult for Thornton, but the best he can do is just keep doing what he's doing, putting in those fast laps and just hoping things go his way. I will say, if we were to get a caution right now, all the leaders would pit, so he would get his wave around, but then he'd be stuck on old tires again. He'd need another caution to get it back, but never say never. Eric Thornton doing what he has to do to have a chance at this one. We'll see what happens. We still have 40 to go, Mean Gene. And I think this would be a decent time to crank it up for a couple minutes. What do you think?
I love it.
Let's do it.
Oh, they're still going. Mata back in the pit. I was a lazy bastard and I didn't write down when the cautions occurred for us later.
Oh no. Well, that's okay. I mean, we think it'll be a pretty easy one. This has been a relatively green race, as I mean, the crank it up curse not working there, Gene. We are still under green, and I think that if you're Bollinger, that's very much I think what you'd like to see right now. And what happened to Case of Beer now in 4th place?
Seemed like he just had a little bit of wear. He was pushing hard, just started to go backwards, tire wear affecting him a little bit more than the other guys. And truth be told, except for David Owens, everybody was having a big fall off, allowing Colin to get that bigger lead. You can see Colin's lead now all the way up to 2.7 seconds.
Right.
Only David Owens was even managing to keep up. Owens still running faster laps than Bollinger, but barely. And the reality is that 2.63 second lead of Bollinger has been shrinking. David Owens slowly eating away at that lead, but the rest of the field, including Case of Beer, just kind of fading back.
Granted, on top of that, too, Mean Gene, while Bollinger did run a couple less laps than Case of Beer did, what's kind of fascinating to me about that is Case of Beer, I'm assuming, struggling, as you can hear. Oh, man, those tires are screaming. I'm assuming that battle, that brutal battle early in this run with Bollinger is the reason why things are not going his way right now in terms of tire wear. I mean, that is the worst time to wear your tires, is early in the run, but really just goes to show even more about what makes Bollinger so impressive is there goes iRacing into the pits. Bollinger as well.
That was a great camera angle.
That was cool. That just goes to show how quickly that happens in front of you and why it's so important to call out your pit stops.
You got the pits are active right now. Captain Steve Lewis coming down, Alex Hillman, Iverson, Colin Bollinger. Now this is going to be interesting. I'm curious how many laps David Owens is going to stay out there in comparison to somebody like the 53 of Bollinger.
Me too. And there's Owens. I'm sorry. There's Hillman that time. So, and here comes Case of Beer. Case of Beer, big lockup. Hopefully he kept that thing under pit road speed.
Smoke.
But certainly an avalanche right here of cars pitting. Now that you saw the first one, the leader of the race, Bollinger pit, no one wanting to get caught out. I mean, at this point, me and Gene, this is only a 33-lap run. I'd be inclined to bring it down as soon as possible here. I don't think there's going to be a ton to gain on the other end of this.
I don't know. See, this is one of them times where David Owens becomes zero chill, doesn't give a bleep about the other guys and thinks to himself, maybe I could put the field a lap down.
Yep.
I'm going to stay out here. I'm going to put everybody a lap down, and then I'm not going to pit. I'm not going to pit, and whoever the three guys are that catch back up on the lead lap, I'll take fourth and pin a Colin, pin a Joe Volpus, pin a Matt Novella. They're all teammates. They're all friends. But, man, you got to become a different person when you put that helmet on. If you think the same guy that takes his family out to Red Lobster, that guy, that personality is going to come in here and win a NASCAR race, you are sorely mistaken. It takes the kind of guy that's going to take that parking spot. He's going to wave at the waiter. He's going to snap his fingers, and he's going to make sure when the end comes, he's standing up there on that podium.
Yep, you have to be selfish. You have to be just brutal, honestly, and you have to be ruthless. I am definitely a different person in the race car than I am outside of it, and you have to be, me and Gene. It's uncomfortable. It creates uncomfortable situations, but you don't come out here to make friends. You already have them normally. You already have your team, and that's all the friends I need. And excuse me, as we see as these cars are starting to cycle through these pit stops here, Bollinger, you can tell, has been pretty conservative on his green flag pit stops in terms of his entry and exit, and why wouldn't you be? He's been opening up some pretty healthy leads in terms of gaps on the track, so that is why you do that. As you see on the inside there, that is Stinson, who was running in second place. He's going to bring it down and put 4 tires on it. That's going to move Novella up to second place, and we'll see if he wants to. But that is interesting. You definitely saw Iverson get a little bit closer to Bollinger through that cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Same with Case of Beer. Case of Beer not far behind.
Yep, you got to look at that. They came in at the same time. Iverson and Bollinger, both of them came in on lap 105.
Here he comes.
Similar times. Iverson, 12.33 second pit stop versus Bollinger's 14.82. So is that full tank and only 2 tires to get that 2-second advantage?
Yeah, that is interesting. Only 12 seconds. That could definitely be a full tank and 2 tires. Same with Case of Beer's 11. Buddy Sully, who has been doing a great job working his way through his field, is up there as well. It looks like, yeah, Sully pitting on 103. So that is how he got a little of that position. He has a tiny bit older tires, but he took 4. So that should even it out for him. We'll see what that delta stays like. Currently about 3 seconds behind Case of Beer. As here comes the rest of the field. We did see Owens bring it down. You see Jose Medina back there bringing it down. Medina had a quiet but solid day so far today. He's been around the top 10 all day doing a good job. But we're about to see this cycle complete itself, and oh boy, here we go. Thornton and Bollinger close again.
Oh, it's getting spicy up front. Meanwhile, strategy becoming a big part of what's happening. Holy jolly, golly gee, it's Thornton, Iverson, and Bollinger together again. Oh, my word.
I'm going to take a quick look at that pass and see how eventful it was this time. Here it is. Here goes Thornton trying to make the move. This is a replay. I'm sorry, that's Iverson. I'm sorry. Oh, my gosh. Bollinger making a move on Thornton. this was 4 positions, so Thornton, not happy with the 53, but also having every right to fight him here. Let's see what he chooses to do. Gives him the outside, and really no drama that time. No drama that time.
No, he learned. If you're going to door him, you got to use the door. Don't use your front right. Meanwhile, strategy and pit strategy and point strategy coming to fruition, because if you look up front,
there he goes.
Matt Novella leading laps to get some points. And back in the look at that, Iverson now making his move. This is like a repeat of what we saw in Michigan.
Out of nowhere, right? And well, this is what Tony Iverson never does, and honestly, Mean Gene, this is oftentimes is better. Iverson, I mean, what have you been seeing me? You commentate the Thursday races. What the hell does that 12 truck always do? He leads a ton of laps, and then he doesn't win the race. And that's what you've been seeing Iverson do a lot this year, and I'm always losing to a guy that I know is as fast as me, but doesn't show their face until the end of the race. And that hasn't been Iverson all season, but look what's happening today. Only 25 to go, and Tony Iverson has taken the lead from the fastest car all day, straight up at the absolute best time.
You know who else is showing their face again? That's Jonathan Quesabir. He's got 1 lap fresher tire than those boys, and he is finding himself now up in that top 3 battling for position. Eric Thornton trying to push it, but man, those tires are 26 laps older than the other guys, so 36 laps over total. Thornton's going to start falling backwards real fast. High Side Hustler teammate Buddy Sully, 3 seconds behind as well, and then you got to go all the way back. Owens is 7 seconds behind those fellas. But Iverson, Bollinger, Quesabir, this should be a wild battle. Bollinger on 4 freshies, whereas Iverson and Quesabir only took right sides. Ought to be interesting as we come down. Lap 117, we are racing to 140, so still 23 laps, 23 laps of excitement to go.
Unbelievable that Iverson was able to make that pass on 2 tires just straight up on speed, and he's pulling away. It is now a 1.2 second lead, so I don't know if Bollinger is trying to conserve a little bit, knowing it's going to come back around to him, or if Iverson just has that much speed underneath that 13. Another guy to keep your eye on will be the 11. He definitely ran it longer than anybody else, pitting all the way on lap 111. That is 6 laps later than our leaders, and also he took 4. So right now it is a 7-second delta. Let's see if that shrinks at all. He's going to have to be really fast to make it anything meaningful. We'll see if that works out for the 11, but still doing what he needs to do in terms of his playoff situation and the point situation. Then Eric Thornton, I think he probably has a devil and an angel on his shoulder right now, Mean Gene, because he's on the lead lap. If he creates the caution, he doesn't need the lucky dog. It would just be no harm, no foul. So Eric Thornton's thinking, I gotta be aggressive here, but there's just 2 different conversations going on that one car's helmet right now. I'll say that much.
Well, we've never seen Thornton. Remember, he walked away from Michigan with 0 incident points. So even though there was some spice on that burrito, he did not have any incident points coming out of that race. We saw the same kind of contact again between he and Bollinger, and Thornton coming up short on that exchange as well, ending up on the grass today. I would imagine if it is a battle, it has been quenched. Ooh, he got some grass on those tires.
He did.
Thornton into the pits as he needs to do that just to make it around here without a wreck. That's going to leave up front Iverson battling Bollinger and Quesabir, all those fellas making battle, those tight top 3. Sully trying to close the gap. David Owens still 7 seconds behind that group. And that's something to think about. Iverson and Quesabir only took right sides, where Bollinger is on fresh 4. But based on what Hillman did, I think 2 tires is what those guys needed to get back in the race. You might be wondering, Owens, can he overcome that 7-second lead? We did not see that big of a drop-off with Alex Hillman's lap speeds to really think that Owens could overcome that.
No, and I'm watching Owens' lap times right now. They're about a 10th faster than Iverson, which tells me it would take him 70 laps to catch Iverson. We don't have that many left, so that's not going to happen. Owens, he did get to lead some laps. It got some bonus points that way, and he also stopped the bleeding from an early incident. So all things considered, not a bad day. And here you do see Quesabir all over Bollinger, really looking like the faster car, which is really impressive. I mean, these are 2 tires again, Mean Gene, from the 6 of Quesabir. And yeah, Hillman really did teach his guys a lesson on that first or that second run we had, taking 2 tires and maintaining the track position he did, because they do not seem to be very much of a disadvantage at all, especially if you can keep a little bit of clean air in front of you, or at least just not be in a hornet's nest like Quesabir has not been able, or not had to be. He does have some dirty air from that 53, but he's, as you can see right there, kind of able to search for that clean air, going about a half a lane below or higher than the 53.
17 laps remaining. Iverson's lead now 2.66 seconds, 0.3 of a second faster than the guys trying to chase him down. So it could be Iverson. He won last year here at Nashville with a quick car at the end of the race, pretty much identical, a Xerox moment of what he did at Nashville last year. He stayed with the pack. Last green flag pit stop for Iverson, he came in and left the field behind, and that's what we're seeing once again. Quesabir now making the move over Bollinger to take the second position. Buddy Sully is in 4th, but he's a good 1.5 seconds behind Bollinger. We'll see if he can close that gap. He was 3/10 of a second faster than Bollinger, so Sully might ring in Bollinger. You got to wonder if Colin at this point is just playing that points game.
Yeah, he may be. Bollinger might be looking at the bigger picture here. I mean, don't forget, he did win the stage. This has been a great points day for Bollinger. There's a chance that once the points come in after this race, that he will not have much to worry about at all next week for our last cutoff race before we decide who our championship 4 is. So yeah, if he is thinking bigger picture, I don't blame him, especially considering the 2 cars that look like they have a chance to win this race, those being Iverson and Quesabir. Either one of them winning would not affect anything for Bollinger.
Also, people that might be thinking about points, you got to think of Joe Volpus and Matt Novella. Volpus back in 9th place. He has a 4.5 second lead over Matt Novella right now, and he is right on the tail of Michael Mata. Mata on 9-lap older tires than Joe Volpus. Volpus running almost 0.4 of a second faster that last lap than the 16 of Mata. So we'll see if Volpus, interesting line choice there by Mata. We'll see how aggressive Volpus is, or is he playing the points game as well? I think at some point you imagine Mata's tires are going to fade away, but there's no way the 16 is going to give that spot away.
Yeah, Mata just doing a lot of defensive driving right now, really just trying to keep that 07 behind him, driving through the mirror, not so much the windshield. That's what you got to do late in these runs, only 12 to go, trying to protect his points position the best he can. And let's take a look over here at Iverson real quick and Quesabir. So the past few laps, Quesabir, with the exception of the most recent one, Quesabir has been faster than Iverson. Not too much, but if he was to keep that up, there's a chance he'd have something for Iverson towards the end of this race. We'll have to keep our eye on that. Quesabir likely giving it everything he has to have a chance at Iverson, and look at that, they just ran identical laps.
And speaking of having a chance, David Owens, we talked about that 7.5 second gap from the leader. Suddenly David Owens has turned it down to 5.75 of a second. But more importantly, look how close he has gotten to Buddy Sully and Colin Bollinger. All of a sudden, all those guys are together. Sully gets by Bollinger, and now it's David Owens right behind the 53. Bollinger's in a high-side hustler sandwich right there. High-side hustlers owning the top position, 3rd, 5th.
It is
1st, 3rd, and 5th.
What is going on with that 53? 4 tires. They're as healthy as, I mean, granted, not Owens are really not much older than Buddy Sully's are. And that 53 has had the long run speed all day, just completely falling off. The only thing that I could think that it may be, Mean Gene, is oftentimes, and they talked about this with Larson yesterday, when the race was looking like it could become out of his control. When you control a race and you spend the majority of it up front, it could be a bad thing, weirdly, because you don't know how to handle dirty air and you're not staying on top of the racetrack because you don't, it's all coming to you too easy. So oftentimes other cars are adjusting, trying to stay faster, trying to make their car better while you're just staying the same.
Or he's just waiting for Thornton to catch up.
Or that. And there goes Owens the third. Now only 5 seconds, but above that, Mean Gene, let's pull this up again real quick again with our deltas. Look at this. We are down to, that was half a second 2 laps ago. Case of beer is faster than Iverson. We are down to a 1 second lead nearly. This thing, if it stays at this pace, he can get there.
And only 8 laps remaining. 8 laps before we are going to call this race and see exactly if he can close that gap. And there it is. It's dipping right at 1 second.
And 2.3 seconds, yeah, 0.23 seconds faster for Case of Beer that time.
David Owens has it down to 5. Owens, that might be as good as he's going to do here today, making it up to the 3rd position. Up front, Tony Iverson trying to hold on. Iverson on 2 tires. Case of Beer on 2 tires. Case of Beer almost not running tonight, but here he is after the completion of 133. He's got, 135, and he's got 6 more laps to figure out if he can close that gap. 0.94 seconds, and he was 1/10 of a second faster last lap.
And he's faster than David Owens, Mean Gene. Case of Beer is one of our fastest cars in the racetrack, and he is sure as hell faster than that 13. So this is going to be interesting, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's catching him. It's 0.4.
Well, you can catch me, but can you get by me?
Yep, catching him's one thing. Passing them is another. But, I mean, Iverson's locked in, and Case of Beer, he's only racing for trophies. So I know that's on the back of Case of Beer's mind. He knows that Iverson doesn't need to win this race necessarily. So this one's going to mean a lot to John. Let's see what he's able to make happen here. He was half a second faster that last time around, Mean Gene.
Bearing down, 5 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. We're in the 2nd race of 3 in the round of 8. Iverson has already punched his way in. Jonathan Case of Beer, he's on the outside looking in, but he'd sure like to put a trophy on that mantle. They are locked in mortal combat. Owens 3rd place is 4.5 seconds back. He's not going to catch him. Only 4 laps remaining as Iverson trying now to hold on. Iverson picking up the pace, but look at Case of Beer. He ran in the pack. Little more speed. Looking outside as they're going to come across. Woo! That is dangerous.
Iverson's going to want to block the line in Case of Beer here, but Case of Beer is getting just incredible runs off of the corners. Then Iverson is just not. It's going to happen again here. Iverson trying to throw the block on the bottom, not able to. So Case of Beer is going to be side by side this time. It's going to be 2 to go this time around, this time across the line. I think we're going to be in for another thriller here, Mean Gene.
Continuing to do battle, Tony Iverson. Case of Beer around the outside. He's clear. He's got it. Case of Beer takes the lead off of the wall, passes the start-finish line. We're on lap 139. This one is going to be white flag next time across. Jonathan Case of Beer looking for the win. He's ahead of Tony Iverson. Iverson fading away as Case of Beer continues to push that number 6 Chevrolet.
In 1 lap, Case of Beer put down 0.6 seconds of a gap to Iverson. He has nothing for him, and this race is official. That is a white flag in the air. Next flag ends, and all Case of Beer has to do is hold on for 1 more lap. I believe that's the lap car of John Beverly or Garrett in front of him. Likely not going to put up too much resistance here. Case of Beer likely going to keep it simple. What a drive from the 6.
Backstretch, Case of Beer now looking under the lap 57 of Guerin. Guerin's going to go high, let him go by. Jonathan Case of Beer is going to bring it out of turn 4. Jonathan Case of Beer rushing toward the finish line. Jonathan Case of Beer is going to win here at Nashville Superspeedway. Congratulations to Jonathan. What a day.
And he almost didn't show up, Mean Gene. I'm glad he did, or I'm sure he's glad he did now. What a drive from Case of Beer. I couldn't be more proud of that guy. I know he needed that one. And, man, that's going to give him the boost that he needed in his personal life. And just another reminder of how talented this kid is and how much he's improving week after week.
Great drivers shine in the face of adversity. Jonathan Case of Beer piloting that vehicle to the number 1 position. There he is on top of the standings. And here come the donuts at the start-finish line. I drank a Dr. Pepper. It is the one you crave. And look at that. Here comes his buddy to celebrate with him. The 25 of Jack Sanders, yeah?
Nailed it.
Yeah, Jack Sanders coming to say, good job, buddy. Or he's there to crash him. One of the I don't know. One of the two.
You never know.
Ooh, is he signing his name? That looks like a signature. What a day for Case of Beer. The final unofficial standings, Jonathan Case of Beer is on top of the podium in first. Tony Iverson is going to finish in second after his big win last week. Third place, David Owens continuing to collect points. Buddy Sully, 3 high side hustlers continuing to be dominant here as Buddy Sully is going to finish in fourth. Jay Stinson in fifth place, the number 2 driver for Venom Racing. Colin Bollinger holds on for 6th place. Alex Hillman 7th. Joe Volpus 8th. Matt Novella 9. And Michael Mata milks the number 16 car around to a 10th place finish.
That is wild from Mata. Good job there. 11th place brought to Kevin Kyle. I believe that is our last playoff driver in the field today. So not a great points day from Kyle, but he did show up. 2 of the guys didn't, so that's going to help him regardless. Jose Medina in 12th. Jack Sanders there in 13th. Eric Thornton, we saw him running up front early, but having those issues with Bollinger, only able to salvage a 14th place finish. Steve Lewis in 15th. Garind in 16th. Swingle in 17th. John Beverly in 18th. And rounding out our field today is Hunter Hall, who brought it home in 19th place. I believe he had some earlier incidents, did not finish this race.
That car giving him trouble in practice as well. Definitely having issues here at Nashville Superspeedway. Again, this was the second race in the round of 8, brought to us by Chantilly Lace here live on the Moonlight Racing League Network. Mean Gene Money here alongside Zach Panzarella as you are looking at your Nashville Superspeedway winner, Jonathan Case of Beer. It's interview time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring in the podium drivers and also one bonus interview. Going to turn it over to you, Zach. Who is the lucky, let's call it the lucky dog. Who's the lucky dog that's going to get pulled in to the booth and not know?
See, it's tough because like Bollinger feels like the right one because he was so interesting today. He ends up 6th place. Alex Hillman would be interesting. We spoke to Thornton before the race, so we won't do Thornton. Let's bring in Hillman. Let's talk about the beginning of that race for him and really the guy who kind of set the tone for what we ended up seeing.
Oh yeah, especially with the two tire ability. I'm gonna have to pull him down in two pulls. Let's see how he feels about being in an East Coast Alliance for just a second. He's probably listening to them wondering what am I listening to? Oh, now he's in 2X racing. That ought to be fun. And now he's landed.
There, we got it. Alex Hillman, we got you, man.
Yep.
Oh, man, what a drive. And that was an interesting one. So just to confirm, when you inherited the lead on the second run, that was 2 tires, right?
Yeah, so it was 2 tires.
So take us through what that felt like. And do you think that call that you made there played into the finish of the race with the winner taking 2 tires as well as a lot of our top finishers?
I know I took 2 tires. We were talking about that over strategy, 2 tires, 4 tires. Took 2, tried to stay in the lead. Didn't really work out, but I am god-awful at tracks that are concrete, at saving tires, something I need to work at. But my lefts were only at 90%.
Wow.
On the first run. So, really wasn't that bad. I just made some bad decisions on defending and let him get to my inside. But very happy for Case of Beer. He deserved that race. Yeah, it was a fun race.
Yeah, super happy for Case of Beer. If anyone needed that one, it was our boy. So great job today, dude. And we talked about it on the broadcast today, but you have just shown, I mean, I know you want to beat yourself up a little bit about that long run speed today, but it was there, man. It was absolutely there. Especially with the 2 tires, extremely impressive. There were other cars who did that same strategy, and you and Case of Beer are really the only 2 able to hold on to your track position at that point in the race. So tell me about your long run journey and what you've been doing to improve on that, because we are seeing it on track. It's been fun to watch.
I'm just not pushing as hard. I started either when tracks you don't have to brake, and lemon off early. Tracks you do have to brake. Just kind of trying to diamond it. Because before I would just go push, try to get as much track position, and then at the end of the run it'd be I gain 5 spots, but then I lose 15.
Yeah.
But today it was just more of at the beginning I was taking the bottom. I was kind of learning this track as I went. I've only raced this track probably once or twice in my career because I don't run officials anymore because all I do is wreck. And so the only time I'd run it would in these cars would be PRL or MRL. But yeah, it's been a fun journey learning how to do long run. I'm seeing how much more consistent I am at getting top 10s than I was at the beginning of the season. But wish I had a little more speed.
Yeah, who would have
Think I
thunk it, Alex? Long run speed equals good finishes. Who would have thunk it? But yeah, it's been amazing to see him, and that 08 is going to be a force to be reckoned with next season. We can't wait for it. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we get out of here today?
Oh, definitely Case of Beer and Mata. Mata is our very good strategy person. He has some great strategies for us every week. And Case of Beer is a great teammate. Doesn't push me when I don't need to be pushed, but gets me going when I need to get going and keeps me positive.
He really is the best. I love that dude. Amazing job today, Alex. Always a pleasure watching you and getting to talk to you here on air. And can't wait to see you next week. And I'll see you on the track on Thursday, my friend.
See you track on Thursday. Thank y'all.
Really good run there by him today. And I know he wasn't happy with the speed he was getting out of the 2 tires, but that ended up being the way to go. Absolutely, in my opinion.
Oh, I think so too, man. Gene definitely was.
All right, we're gonna bring in the 3rd place driver. That is gonna be David Owens, and Owens, as per usual, is up there showing videos to people. I'm sure it's not OnlyFans, but I don't know.
See right here, this wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull him in and interrupt his live show he's putting on. David Owens, are you there, my friend?
I'm here.
Sorry to interrupt your video up top, but you got 3rd, and it's that time to talk, man. I know you wanted to win this race, but 3rd place after the start you had, you can't be too sad or hard on yourself.
I'd beg to differ. Can't be hard on myself because it wasn't my fault, like last week, but definitely going to change up the way the racing of some of these drivers are going to be done.
Well, you're definitely on par to be in the championship. Points have been updated. Matt Novella currently in 5th. You have a 24-point lead on him. So unless some massive insanity happens at Phoenix, you have to feel like you're in a good position going in. And also, Phoenix is a good track for you, wouldn't you say?
I'm decent there. It's not one of my best. It's not in Nashville. But it's a good track for me if I can stay out of trouble. So just points is keeping the car clean and decent points today.
Well, we knew going into this thing it was going to be close. A lot of drivers show great speed here. And even when it was single file, there were 7 or 8 cars constantly within a few seconds of the leader. You had your early trouble. You did different pit stops. One of the fastest cars on the track at the end. You just needed more laps, David, to get back in it. But I know you wanted more, but 3rd place, you're on the podium. You're definitely rattling the saber as far as the next round goes. I wish you luck next week, and I expect to see that number 11 fighting for a win and then in that championship round at Las Vegas. Anyone you want to give a shout out to here today, David?
Shout out to everybody that shows up for this league. You and Zach up here in the booth. Just if it wasn't for you guys and everybody that shows up week in and week out, we couldn't put on this league. And I guess I'll give a special shout out to Michael Mata. Just don't expect Bristol anymore.
Bristol. Oh my, that's where I
could have ran him dirty and
Michael. That's where Michael McDowell killed Joey Logano when I was live in attendance. Oh, I have PTSD at that track.
Good times.
PTSD. Well, David, knuckle down. You got next week coming. You still got more races this week as well. The number 11 still knee deep in the playoffs, and we still got 2 more races. 1 more race at Phoenix to lock down the final 4, and then in Las Vegas for the championship. And right now, that number 11 NOS driver, he is right in the middle of this heavyweight battle. David, have a good night, sir. You have earned it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, guys.
So David Owens, he came into this thing in third, and he had a 14-point lead, 15-point lead over Novella. Now he has a 24-point lead. So even though you could hear the disappointment in his voice, that lead continues to grow as we get closer to Deadline Phoenix next weekend here on the Moonlight Racing League. Chantilly Lace also to credit for our broadcast. Thank you so much out there to Chantilly Lace as they continue to be our main sponsor here on the Moonlight Racing League. That's going to bring us to the second place finisher, Zach. Looks like Tony Iverson time.
Are you ready for hey, we got you, Tony? Yeah. You ready for one of those?
Is that your prediction?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's my prediction.
All right, here he comes.
I'm just not as happy. Hey, Tony, man, we got you?
Hey, I'm here. What's up?
Ah, damn it, Gene.
You got more than yeah.
Thought you'd be more upset, Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this dude on house money. But what a crazy finish to that race. First thing I pointed out is you're someone that's just been dominant in so many races this year. And if there's anyone who knows it, it's me. How often that doesn't result in a win. And then today, you do the opposite. You come not so much out of nowhere. You had so much speed all day, but you get to the front at the end with only about 25 to go. How are you feeling when that happened?
Yeah. I mean, I started in the back, kind of got to the rig at the last second, didn't really have a chance to qualify. And then I just kind of decided to run my race, but then I realized that, like, if I didn't just pass cars, I was going to run them over. So I was like, all right, I just got to kind of find where I can ride in line and not have to worry about slamming on my brakes. That was kind of the struggle in the beginning. And then once I kind of evened that out, I saw that Colin and Owens, the faster cars started kind of showing up to me a little bit. And so I kind of just tried to, stay on track with what they were doing while not really getting in my teammates' way at all. And at the end there, the way things have cycled around, I ended up being like a second or like 2.5 seconds or so behind the leader. So I just went for the last pit stop 2 tires gamble. And the way that I was like, how the speed I had right away, it really surprised me, honestly. I didn't really know what to expect from the car on 2. But, I shot out to the front, got a lead. And then I started to feel it die. And I was like, uh-oh. It was about 18, 19 to go. And I was like, oh, man, this is going to be really close. And I drove it with everything I had. But when the 6 car got up to me, I was like, I have no reason to like super race this guy right now. And plus, I almost took him out in the beginning of the race. So whatever happens here, I'll throw a little block here and there, make things spicy, but I'm not going to, do anything crazy. So, when he got to my outside, I actually got really tight and almost Colin Bollingered him. But, instead I decided to let out and let him go ahead and get his win. And, it was fun, man. I really didn't think I was going to be, shot out in front of everybody like that. And honestly, like, if anybody on 4 was going to catch me, I didn't expect it to be the 6. So props to him. That was a fun race.
He probably doesn't want to hear this, does he, Mean Gene? Casey Bear was on 2 as well.
Oh, was he?
He was. I think 2 was just the move. Hillman did it early in the race. I think he did a great job maintaining his position. And meanwhile, we watched Bollinger, who did take 4. He finished 6th. So fascinating in terms of tires. I don't think it's anything to be said about you or anything like that. But yeah, definitely it weirdly was. I think the 2 tires were kind of an advantage, especially with the track position it gave you.
Yeah, no, that was wild.
Yeah, definitely a wild one. And yeah, you're right. And geez, me and Gene, we got to be ducking because the amount of strays that have been thrown in this interview session has been ridiculous. But
I don't even know the other ones, but I know what mine was.
Oh, there was plenty, man. Don't worry. There's no shortage of bullets flying around this room right now. But beyond that, you are locked into the championship. You were since last week. So as you approach this, or as you approached this race, and also next week over at Phoenix, what's kind of the 13's priorities right now? Or are you just locked into that championship race?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about Vegas at this point. You know, this race made me feel pretty good because I didn't practice for it because I've been kind of just running a little here and there at Vegas. So this race made me feel good to go to a completely different style of track and just kind of, you know, start in the back, jump in, and then be a threat to win at the end. Yeah, no, that's, you know, feels like a good little boost of momentum. Makes me feel pretty good about where everything's headed. And yeah, I don't know. I think this car and the mile and a halves we've always gotten along well. When we raced Vegas at the preseason race, me and Mata had a little nice 2-lap battle at the end there, and I ended up getting the win there. And you know, that kind of makes me, you know, feel, I mean, some of the other competitors weren't in that race, but still feels good to cross the line first at the, you know, the last trip to a track. And yeah, so I'm ready. You know, I think it's gonna be I think the champion is gonna have to win the race, but yeah, I'm ready.
I'd agree with that as well. And yeah, that really is a huge benefit of winning early in the round of 80 is getting to go straight to the championship racetrack and immediately start putting those laps and give yourself that advantage. So I've been doing the same thing, but nothing quite boosts confidence like going to a place where you didn't do a ton of practice and be able to run with the big boys and have a chance to win. So great job today. Anyone want to give a shout out to before you're out of here?
Yeah, you know, the team, you guys, Case of Beer, it was a good drive. It's cool to see him win one. And the wife, of course. Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Well, thank you so much, Tony, and congrats on second place, and we will see you next week, my friend.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Hopefully we can get
Well, the points.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the points spread out for some and tighten up for others, but one guy that doesn't care, Tony Iverson. That guy's got the golden ticket, and he has pushed his way in. He has got to be happy. Meanwhile, Colin Bollinger, after what he did today, that increases his lead over Matt Novella. Owens as well, pushing further away from Novella. Vulpes and Novella, though, they stay at the same distance as they did coming in. So those two have figured out absolutely nothing. Kevin Kyle's going to fall a few points behind
17.
Vulpes for that spot. So you could see Kyle trending the wrong way. Vulpes and Novella still in the middle of the heat. So that means next week, Bolander, Walton, Kevin Kyle, all in a must-win, but in Novella's in a must-crash Joe Vulpes situation.
He is mean,
or he could win, you know. But I'll tell you what,
one guy's on this
that's
list.
all speculation. Mm-hmm. That's all speculation. Let's go to reality, and the reality is we got a race winner that we need to talk to. I'm going to hunt him down. Let's hunt him down. Where is he hiding? Here's he hiding.
Oh, I'll get him.
I'm going. Oh, he's way up. He's way up. Look at him up there talking.
There he is with his MC boys.
Yep. All right. Let's pull him down to the Gulf Coast Racing. He's probably wondering, what am I doing here? And then the rest of the way. Yo, JC, we got you, buddy.
Woo!
What is up?
Well, you're what's up, my friend. How about that? Taking the win here today at Nashville Superspeedway. You got to be on top of the world, my friend.
Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Just driving that car and keeping, the right front from killing itself was probably the biggest challenge. But, yeah, I just kind of paced myself behind the 53 when we, the first two got caught up with some lap traffic. I caught up to him, and I just kind of followed the 53 for a few laps, keeping tires under it. And then with 15 to go, I knew it was my time, and I went on by the 53 and just, continued to just hit my spots. And Iverson made a few mistakes with the wall, and I was just able to capitalize on it.
Now, there was a moment in the race, though, where you kind of vanished from the front. The beginning of the race, we saw you up there, and after the final pit stop, we saw you catch back up. But in the middle, there was a moment where you ghosted. What was happening there? Was that just putting in laps, or did you have some technical difficulties?
I don't know. It was like the pit crew put on an old right front or something, because just immediately started plowing that entire 4-tire run. It wasn't until the last pit stop that the car felt good.
Which was funny because you took 2, yeah?
I took, when the yellow came out the first time, when Iverson got me a little sideways, I put 2 on it. And then the first green flag stop, I put 4. And then the next stop, I put 2.
Yeah. And that seemed to be the way to go. You and Tony Iverson both just taking 2 tires. The 53 took 4, but that just, I'm not sure exactly what happened. He ended up fading back to 6th place. Did you feel like there was a point where his car just gave up when you finally got past that 53, or did you wear him down?
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if following him around, he was just pushing too hard, like trying to keep the spot, even though I wasn't trying to take it yet. But yeah, as soon as I cleared him, he just kind of fell back, and I was shocked to find out he fell to 6th. I thought, he might be like a 4th or something, because I think I knew Sally was coming. He had a good call on his strategy, and I think he was coming at the end. And I know Owens was coming, but yeah, falling to 6th, that I wasn't really expecting him to go that far back.
Well, that's what happens when you get pushed by other cars. Again, not an aggressive level. We're watching the replay right now, and there's a good half-car length between the two of you. You never really got up on him, but you definitely let him know that you were there for the couple of laps behind him before you did finally make that move. This win's also extra sweet. Your teammate, Michael Mata, took a win earlier in the year. You get the win here at Nashville. MC Motorsports, 2 wins on the year. I mean, you got to feel like this team is knocking on the door.
Yeah, we're starting to look a lot less like Rickware Racing than we did earlier in the year. But yeah, a couple of wins, feels good for the team. I came into this track telling the guys, like, I can't stand this place. I don't know how to drive it. I don't know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden I topped the charts in practice, and I qualified P5. And I was like, okay, I've got some, 2-3 lap speed. Didn't practice long run, had no idea what the tires were going to do as they wore. But I just kind of was just cruising, trying to keep the tires on it, and, had the right call on the 2-4-2 stops. And yeah, I was kind of, I thought I was about to die in turn 4 at the 1 lap. I got around his outside, Iverson's outside, and I heard him get tight, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the end of it. Like, it's about to be a Dr. Pepper sandwich. And, I mean, he lifted and let me go, and I did brush the wall a little bit, but, I'm glad that he had the respect and the brains put together to let that happen, because there's a few drivers in here that are a little over-aggressive. They probably just would have put the pedal down and taken us both out.
Well, sometimes side drafting goes wrong, and there's not a lot you can do when that happens. It was an exciting pass. We had the cameras on you at that moment. Tapped the wall just a little bit. You doored it perfectly, carried your momentum out of there. Iverson, no choice but to let off, or else he would have taken you and him out of the race. And then after that, you didn't just pass him, then you just drove away. What were you pushing the car at that point just to see how far you could get ahead? Or was your wear just that much less than the rest of the guys?
I think my wear was that much less than his, because once I got by him, I just hit the next couple corners the exact same way that I was when I ran him down. I wasn't pushing, I was just hitting my marks. The car was just feeling really good. If I could arc it just right, get down to the bottom, and I could floor it and come all the way up to the wall and come out of the corner.
Well, you definitely had that thing on a rail, the number 6, once you got clear and got that clean air in front of you, and nobody had anything for you, Jonathan, and you just piloted that thing straight to the win. Congratulations, my friend. Exciting race, especially watching you be so competitive, vanish, come back with the strategy, and be the fastest car on the track at the end. Great win, well deserved. Anybody you want to give a shout out to here today?
Yeah, I got to shout out my longtime strategist, Michael Matta. He's always got the knowledge of, what stops to take what tires and when to take the fuel. And he did a little bit of a different strategy than we did with his timing of his pit stops that didn't exactly work out for him. But him, the other teammates in the chat were Hillman and Hall. They're both really good guys to be running with. Just an extra set of experience on the track, tell me what their cars are doing so I can kind of adjust mine. If they're running too hard, I can run a little less. And then shout out to you guys for putting the broadcast on every week. It's always good to get up here and talk to you guys after a race. It's been a minute. I think probably the last Superspeedway when I was second place yet again. And then the rest of the league for just coming out and racing. Iverson for being as clean as he was. Bollinger for being as clean as he was. I think those were the only really guys that I raced. Everybody else, it was just passing on newer tire strategy, and I can't really think anybody else who was racing up at the front with me, but good racing from everybody tonight. And I'm definitely, we had Bristol next week, was it?
Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix, not Bristol. Yeah, Phoenix. I love Phoenix too, so I'm gonna see if I can come out and win 2 in a row in the playoffs and spoil it
there
for
we
some
go.
of these guys.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not in the playoff run, nothing better than to take a bunch of wins from those guys and say, you're just lucky I didn't run one more race in the regular season, or I'd have been right here scoring these dubs. Speaking of thanking the broadcast team, I hear you're also part of a broadcast team.
Yeah, me and Matta started up MC Motorsports Broadcasting and took on running broadcast for a truck league that's running their first season together. They got a good core of guys that have ran since NASCAR Heat 5, but they've also brought in some new guys that have only been on iRacing. So they're in their first season as a league, and we're in our first season as broadcasters. So both sides are just kind of growing together.
Oh, well, we might have to talk. There might be a rebroadcast possibility. Maybe we can score you up on the Vortex Racing Network in the future, but we'll talk about that off air. Jonathan Casabier, the winner here, Nashville Superspeedway, the number 6 Chevrolet driver. Jonathan, get some rest, my friend. You have earned it. What a hell of a run today.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that was exciting, Zach. Watch him like vanish and then come back.
Yeah, really incredible. I mean, just this race, like we predicted there'd be a lot of comers and goers, and while we did see a lot of the same characters up front, it certainly did leave a lot of room for strategy, taking care of your stuff, and getting to enjoy the other side of that. In case of beer, the best example of that. And again, you just cannot talk about how valuable it is to have a guy like Michael Matta helping you with strategy and giving you the data you need to have a chance at these wins.
And as far as the playoff picture, Phoenix next week and then going into Vegas, you have to start wondering about these same drivers that we're seeing up at the front of the field. We keep seeing Iverson. We keep seeing Bollinger. So those two guys stand out. David Owens, he is always fast, but there just seems to be contact. Something happens with David, whether it be the wheel gives out, the pedals aren't communicating with your computer. That seems to be the only thing slowing down David Owens. I feel like the guy's almost in a official session sometimes, and he just gets caught up into some stuff. So definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board. David made that comment about I'm going to drive people differently. That means, I interpreted that to mean more aggressively. And I don't think being more aggressive is going to help his situation of being caught up in incidents. I think less aggression is the way to go. And yeah, the front end of his car wasn't involved in that contact, but I don't think adding your front end into any equation is the way to get a more consistent result. So hopefully Owens will take the opportunity to go back and see where he had success on the track. And that success comes from patience and pouncing when you have the opportunity. Like we saw Jonathan too today. That fella, I didn't see him really take any big chances today, but when tire wear came into effect, it just seemed like that was the moment that he had. Other X factors, though, Zach, the raw speed of somebody like Sean Walton, and then the streaky Matt Novella. When will the hot streak come? He needs a stump breaker, right?
Novella, yeah, he absolutely does. I mean, he did get the win a couple of weeks ago, and also winning on Friday night last week over in the ARCA series. But Novella, he wants to get done the round of 8, and he may need to if he wants to race for a championship over here on Mondays. Because, I'm looking at these points, and that 11, I'd have to agree with you. I don't think being more aggressive right now, especially to someone like Mata, who isn't in the playoffs, would be the best decision. Because all he really needs is a clean race, and he will be racing for a championship the week after in Vegas, where it's going to be really...
Where he can win.
Yeah, exactly, where he can absolutely win. It's really going to be Volpes and Novella going at it for that last spot with a guy like Kyle, Walden, or Bolander looking to get that win and get themselves into this race, and that's the only way this becomes complicated for the 11, is if it gets into some incidents and someone from the outside looking in 7th or 8th wins the race. Then there's a world where he could get passed by someone like Volpes, so he's going to have to be careful and look at the bigger picture here, as we are really in the nitty-gritty of the season.
And I waited to talk about all the drivers. I waited to talk about Joe last because I really wanted to put an emphasis, again, most top 5s, second most top 10s. Joe Volpes is on the edge of getting that win. What he needs is just a clean race and a car not to fall apart. I just don't think he could dial in that brake bias that he needed properly, and it just kind of started to fade a little bit away. I think we're going to see Joe put a little bit extra practice in. That was something Joe and I talked about, was that he didn't get to put in as much practice as other people. Let's say a David Medina in the Sunday League. Joe said he's nowhere near that level of preparation, but I think a few extra laps from a Joe Volpes to really dial in that brake bias and make sure that his car, the tires aren't wearing out on him, is something I think that could put Joe over the top, and not just make sure that he's in the Final Four, but even give him a strong chance to win come at Las Vegas. And that's kind of the picture that I'm looking at. But straight up right now, Zach, Iverson and Bollinger, those two guys, their speed, it just seems to be a little bit ahead of the rest of the field. So we'll just see exactly what happens at Phoenix, and then we can pick our Final Four and see where we're going to go from there. Any final thoughts walking away from the track today?
Yeah, I agree. It really is. Iverson and Bollinger, the class of the field right now, really putting together an incredible season, and they've had the speed since the very beginning. So yeah, those two, we know one of them is going to be racing for a championship in Vegas, and Bollinger all but locked in on his point situation, really not with much to worry about. That stage win, huge for him today. So yeah, it's going to be a brawl next week, and like you said, Volpes or Novella, really anybody in this group of 8, if they're able to do what they have to do and get to Vegas, anyone here can win that race and call themselves an MRL Monday Night Mayhem champion when all is said and done. So there is a ton at stake at Phoenix. A great track for that, too. That track race is exceptional on iRacing. I always love covering that place, and I'm excited to be there next week, Gene. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think all these fellas are still in play going into Phoenix. Whoever shows up is going to have a shot to win this thing. Kevin Kyle, didn't mention him a lot today, but he has a win on the year. Best mustache of the final 8.
Oh, for sure.
Not going to be putting him out of the picture at all. Kevin is a few practice laps away from pushing himself up into that Final Four if he could get the win at Phoenix next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be on the Vortex Racing Network in about 15 to 20 minutes. Inside the Mayhem, come join us as we give a recap of the playoff picture as well as the events here today. We're going to have a guest star. Don't know who it's going to be yet. We got to check with our producers and see which of the drivers has signed up to come join us on Inside the Mayhem live on the Vortex Racing Network. You can see the QR code right there. Go ahead and swipe that thing with your phone. Jump in, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have a drawing here very, very soon. You want to be one of the top 50 subscribers to get an opportunity to get in on that sweepstakes giveaway. There'll be another one right afterwards. Join us on Inside the Mayhem. If you comment, you're going to get 2 drawings for that initial prize, and it's going to be something that you are definitely going to want to be a part of on Vortex Racing Network in about 15 minutes. For now, though, we're going to wrap it up here on the MRL Moonlight Racing League Network. I'm Mean Gene Money. On behalf of myself, Zach Panzarella, our sponsors, Chantilly Lace, KK Woodworks, Daily Drivers Inc., all of the boys back in the production truck, the admins of the league, John Beverly, Joe Vulpes, David Owens, Zach Panzarella, and Steve Fugay. It's been our pleasure to bring you this round of 8 action. Catch us next week at Phoenix, and we'll see you in 15 minutes over on the Vortex Racing Network for Inside the Mayhem. And as always, bottoms up and hammer down.